Thank you, Kashmira Murmu. One more thing comes. Well, when we say it's a deontological idea, it's not again the sort of duty for duty's sake, because here, even though we speak of Swadharma, there is a scope for Apadharma. Anybody can raise arms during the moment of crisis. There is a concept of Apadharma, and that makes everything contextual in the Gita context. And that's not there in the Western sense, duty for duty's sake. So again, we cannot brand it as deontological in speaking in that sense. So a conscious mix of the deontological ideas and as well as the teleological idea somehow is working, I think, in Nishkamakarma. I don't know. We have to explore. Okay.
Yes, well, so there was one point that I guess I missed it, that it is very contextualistic. The Gita view of action is very, it aims at contextualism, because, and that makes it quite flexible also. So that is my viewpoint. It can be correct, it can not be correct, but that is my viewpoint.
Anyway, okay, thank you, Kashmira Murmu, for your item. Well, Jayanti madam is there. Let's see. Jayanti madam is not there. Well, anybody who wants to raise any question or make a submission on this? Well, let's move to our admin, Professor Das, Pramod Kumar Das, sir. Please, your notes. Yes.
When we are talking about Nishkamakarma, actually we are discussing about the discipline of, this is about psychic discipline. Very rightly Ranjit Ghosh sir said detached attachment, and secondly he also said that Sthita Prajna. The problem is about our mindset. The problem is about our mental slavery. In an action situation, three things are inevitable because we can't avoid that. One is there is action, one act must. Action must be there. You can't say that there is no action. Agent must be there, because without agent no action can be done. Consequence must be there, because if there is no consequence, we have nothing to do, because we are doing something means it must lead to a consequence. Science also claims that every action has its equal and opposite reaction. We cannot, Gita is very scientific. Gita does not go against scientific declaration. Newton's law, every action has its equal and opposite action. Consequence must be there. So Gita does not avoid action, agent and consequence. Very clear. But at the same time, Gita claims even the action is done, there is no action. No action is done. Even the agent is there, there is no agent. Even the consequence is there, there is no consequence. Question is how? If this is explained, the entire Bhagavad Gita is explained. Consequence must be there, but here we are advised not to overthink about consequence. We should have consequence orientation, but that overthinking about consequence should not disturb our way of our duty. When we are doing some duty, that unnecessary imagination about consequence should be avoided. That is the point, because consequence must follow, and if we should have a planning, we should have an orientation, otherwise we can't start doing any action. So that is the point. So consequence is there, but our mental slavery, our mental what we shall say, mental attachment, unnecessary attachment for the consequence should not be there. That means on detached attachment means consequence is there, and we have decided that we have thought of the consequences, but we should have a very detached attachment for the consequence, because our attachment is the problem. Number one, suppose we fixed our mind that this must be the consequence, then our motivation will be changed, because consequences belong to future over which we don't have any control. So our expectations may go wrong, that may not be fruitful. So we have to be ready for any unexpected consequences too. So a consequence is only a supposition, it is an assumption that may not take place as we have imagined. So we should have a neutral mind. This may happen, that may happen. And whatever will happen, I shall not be disturbed because I am doing my duty. This is very common sense. This is common sense what Gita says. Number one. Number two, agent must be there and there should not be any agent. How is it possible? Because I know that I am doing. There is no need of certificate. But I should not have the sense of agency, karta bhava, the ego, that I am doing, I am doing, I am doing. Many people do that. 90% people, those who give some charity, they take the photograph, they upload that in the YouTube and Facebook. They see how many people like them, what are the comments. These are unnecessary attachments. These are not detached attachments. Do and forget, because your main concern is to do your duty. So I am the agent who is very much present in doing an action, but I am absent mentally because I don't have that sense of agency. So agent is there, but the sense of agency, karta bhava tyaga. There are three types of sacrifices. Phala tyaga, phala is there, but you have a sacrifice. You have a sense of a sacrifice about phala. Phala tyaga bhava, karta tyaga bhava. Karta is there, you are doing, everybody knows that you are doing. When mother is doing something, mother never claims that I am your mother, I am your mother, I am doing this for you, I have done so much things for you. Father may say, but mother will never say that I am doing, I am doing, I am doing. A good teacher will never say, I have taught you, I have taught you, I have taught you. Because everybody knows that you have taught. But don't develop that ego sense, because that will disturb your personality in future. And that was developed, this tendency was developed in Arjuna. He was worried about the consequence. He was worried about his agency. And then action. Action is there, but there is no action. That is called inaction. That is called akarma. Action is there, but it should be done in such a way as if no action is done. How? If the other two conditions are fulfilled, that consequence is there, but there is no mental hankering, mental slavery about the consequence. If this spiritual sadhana is practiced, and secondly, you are doing but you don't have the sense of agency. If these two conditions are fulfilled, then whatever you do, you are just doing in a flow of doing. That means action becomes your character. Action is done, but there is no action at all. When we are speaking about the corporate, now the question is, oh, it is beautiful in Bhagavad Gita. How can we set it in the corporate section or in a school, in a college, in the modern life? Everybody every sector should have this technique. This is a technique. Therefore, the corporator head should have a patience to tolerate the loss. If our team, the people are giving us maximum profit every year, if due to some mistakes or due to some market policy, some we are going to have certain loss in our business, let us tolerate it, because that is about the consequence. So this should be the motto of the action. That is called karma yoga. Karma yoga means yoga karmesu kausalam. So this is the kausala. that not mere doing action is not karma yoga. That is karma. But karma yoga means you have to do your action in such a way that that will not bind you. And in what condition your action will not bind you? If it is done five points. If what are the 5 points of Nishkamakarma? If 5 conditions are fulfilled, we can say that it is a Nishkamakarma. Number 1, action is done without the sense of agency. There is agent but no sense of agency. Number 1. Number 2, there is a consequence, but one is not worried about the consequence. Karmane badagaraste ma phalesu kadachana. That means we don't have any control over the consequence. Even we think 1,000 times, we cannot exactly say that exactly this consequence will come to my action. No, nobody can say. You are very well prepared for examination, but on the very day of examination, you may fall sick. You may not appear the examination. You may face an accident on the road. So you cannot say exactly this consequence will come. So don't be over worried. Don't be worried about your consequence because you are a karma yogi. Number 2. Number 3, you do your action with free will. If you are not free, free means flexible. Free means contextual. If you are not free to tune your mind according to the situation, then you can't do your duty because there is not a fixed law. That this is the fixed law, I shall drive my car with my fixed means. No, I shall drive my car according to the road situations. Similarly, every moment is a new situation. So I can't have a very fixed principle. So I should use my free will in spite of all determining factors. So determinism and free will go hand in hand in Bhagavad Gita. And number 4 is you should do it for a greater interest. Any action you do for the greater interest where maximum people are benefited, not hedonism. Maximum people are benefited by your action. That is called Lokasangraha. Lokasangraha is a very beautiful model in Bhagavad Gita. That is Nishkamakarma. And the 5th one is your action should be dedicated to the divinity. That I am not the agent. If all these 4 conditions are fulfilled, automatically one should have that sense of devotion. One will become a great devotee, and one shall do an action in that sense of devotion. That I am doing it for him, for Lokasangraha. Lokasangraha is the social limit, and for him means is the cosmic limit. That I dedicate my action to the whole cosmos. It is for the divinity.